Joan, are you ready to go on more adventures? All right. We just dropped Ellie off. She's on her way to Flagstaff. We are on our way to Las Vegas. So it's saying charge 5 minutes in White Hills. Probably do a little more than that. We're also going to take this route, which is the old Route 66 route up through here. So we're going to mix this up a little bit from this plan, but this at least tells us we can do it easily with our charging this morning. So it's saying we'd get to the Excalibur before 3 p.m. So we got plenty of time to kill today. We're going to explore some of Route 66. We're following along with Patrick and Liv's Route 66 Recharged trip they're doing from Chicago to LA to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Route 66. We were hoping to be able to meet up with them on this trip, but our timing is just a few days off. So we're going to be on this section, and then they'll be here in like 2 or 3 more days. We're going to follow along with their trip on YouTube. We're going to have our adventure today, and then probably stop at the Hoover Dam, then hit Las Vegas and see the sights there. All the flashing lights as we turn into night. Should be pretty fun. It's a little odd to be coming into the Grand Canyon Village and then not go see the canyon, but that was the plan for this morning. We've been here. This is really day 4. Counting partial days, this is day 5. So we've had a good run here, and it's time to go see some other things. Joan, are you ready for more adventures? All right. You ready to put some songs on and for Dad to stop talking? Yeah? And more snacks? All right. And away we go. Alright, we had a slow drive-through stop, but now we're off the interstate and on Route 66. It's changed our charging stop to Kingman, saying we'll get there with 20%, but it's keeping us on 66 here, so that's fun. Nice to be off the interstate for a little while, do a little touring, lower speeds, and more scenic. Joan, do you plan to motor west? Take the highway? That's your way? It's the best? Get your kicks on Route 66. Are you getting your kicks on Route 66? Yes. Okay. We'll let you know if we find any roadside fun. If hugging on highways is your sport, trade in your car for a Davenport. Burma Shave. Got cars that look like the Cars. We are back on the interstate after Route 66, or a chunk of it anyway, and it looks like we're going to have some road construction here, so speed limits are actually going to be lower on the freeway, but that's alright. It was cool to drive part of Route 66, very scenic in places. You can definitely tell it's suffered since the interstate came in. A lot of closed stores and things like that, towns that probably were bustling once are pretty deserted, so that's a little sad, but still cool to be out there, see the road. Fun to see the Burma Shave signs. That was a great throwback, so enjoyed that. We were reading them as we went along. But now stop and go traffic into the Kingman Supercharger, saying we'll get there with 17%, and it's going to take us about 9 minutes, even though it's less than 3 miles away. But that's life. We'll just take it as it comes. All right, we are here at 2 p.m., so about 4 hours after dropping Ellie off. We're ready for a break out of the car. Since our last charge, 198.8 miles, average of 237 watt-hours per mile. We're almost to 2,000 on the trip, and we need to plug in. This is a level 2, or version 2. I was kind of nervous as we pulled in. There's an urban supercharger around the corner, and I was nervous we were going to get stuck at 72, but I don't think that's going to be the case. 15 minutes and 43 cents a kilowatt hour. So we're going to do a restroom break, reset. After that long stretch, somebody needed a treat. All right, well, we were in the Carl's Jr. Got enough to continue our trip, actually, before we even went in. That was 1774. We're at 80% at 229. Road's pretty bad, so this might be pretty noisy. Didn't film much in Kingman. There were a couple people just hanging out outside the Hardee's or Carl's Jr., so I didn't want to be too conspicuous. I was surprised it was a bank of V2 superchargers and then some urban superchargers next to them. There was a sign posted I saw that like a half mile away at like a visitor center or something, there was another supercharger, so I don't know if this one gets filled or that's the new main one, and this is just a holdover from olden times, but I'm guessing that would have been nicer, but this worked out just fine. We needed to get out of the car and stretch for a little bit. Oh, and Joe needed a treat after that long stretch of 4 hours in the car. I think we were there ultimately for about a half hour, but we've got time. We're doing well. I've added Hoover Dam to our route, so we're gonna get to the visitor center at about 3:43. We're going to hang out too long. We're not going to do the tour or anything, but we'll go out, look, check it out, do that kind of thing, and then we'll head on to Las Vegas. We wanted to drive across, so parked in the overflow lot on the Arizona side and walked past the spillway and back across the dam. before long, we were back to the car, over the dam again, and on our way. We just had a really nice walk around the Hoover Dam, on the Hoover Dam. Looked over a whole bunch of times. It's still very high, but the water on the lakeside is a lot lower than I remember it. So that's not great. Joan, did you like walking on the Hoover Dam? Is that pretty fun looking down all that scary steep height? Yeah, I'm glad she was there to hold my hand. Dad doesn't like heights. But now we got 31 minutes to get to Vegas. We'll get there at 5:31, check in, saying we'll be about 29% at that point. So really we should supercharge tonight, but I think we're going to try to get up early and get out of town. I don't know, I'm debating on that. We might stop and charge quick. If there's a version 3 or 4 we can jump onto for a few minutes, it might be a smarter play. But it's also 5:30, so it might be more congested. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll roll the dice. Alright, there's a 250 supercharger in Henderson just before we get to Las Vegas. It's on our way, so we're gonna stop there for a few minutes. It'll just help get us to the park a little earlier tomorrow. We're gonna get to that supercharger with 30%. Too much, but again, I want to buzz out of town and quick and early tomorrow. We should be there in 11 minutes. Alright, we are in Henderson, Nevada. At 5:26, 32%, and that last trip was 104 miles, 265.9, 266 watt hours per mile. We're over 2,000 on the trip. If you can see any of that glare, but 51 cents a kilowatt hour. We're up to 140 already. This is pretty full. We're gonna walk around for 10 minutes. We'll get what we get. Saying 45 minutes to get to 100. We're definitely not doing that here. All right, we're at 79%. And it's pretty full. I don't want to get an overage charge after we hit 80. 79% at 5:47, and that charge was $15.80. So next stop, Excalibur. That should get us to St. George tomorrow with around 20%. I don't know if you can see that. And then we'll charge up more than 5 minutes there so we can get through Zion and not just to it. But that's tomorrow's figuring. Now to the hotel. Alright, we are at the Excalibur with 76% at 6:07 p.m. Last trip was just 10 miles, 2,098 miles with an average of 300 watt hours per mile. So pretty good. Let's get checked in, get some dinner, and then check out these lights. It's been a long time since staying in Vegas, so learning the check-in kiosk process took a while. I'd also forgotten how everything smelled when you can smoke indoors. Eventually, we found our room and then back down to Johnny Rockets for dinner. Joan was loving the lights and sounds inside, but not much you're allowed to film in there. Outside was cool too, but tough to capture while steering Joan. So I'm borrowing some stock shots from the area to fill in here. We got some photos for the grandparents around the block, then headed up the strip to the Luxor. On the way, we came across a Zook's robotaxi at a stoplight. Cool to see, and if we'd had more time, it would have been fun to try and get a ride. In our house, we're big fans of the Sesame Street Bert and Ernie Egypt skit, where Ernie's afraid, then dances with the statue. Bert doesn't believe him until the statue says bye-bye to him. So we had to visit the big statues here and yell, "Ernie!" The long day was catching up with us, though, so before long we're back at the Excalibur and fast asleep. Good morning. It is 5:31 local time, 72 degrees. We're going to head up to Arches National Park. Let's hit the road and try to beat the crowd. Good morning. Well, we are on our way. We got up very early, so things are still pretty quiet. Saw a few more lights, but autopilot wanted to take us behind all the parking garages, so not a ton to see, but we probably should have just driven down the strip. Once we were kind of on the path to the highway, we were there. I don't think I got another camera, but looking back, I saw the sphere was lit up like the moon for the Artemis mission that just finished, so that was cool. The view from our hotel room was just air conditioning units, so nothing special, nothing to share there. And we are now in Arizona, so we get about 34 minutes to St. George. There, I'm going to navigate to the Bryce Canyon City Supercharger. So if Arches is too busy and we can't find parking there, we will just go ahead right to Bryce Canyon and we'll know we'll have enough charge. On the way down here, I've been trying to download a software update. It never really looked like it finished, but it may have installed. But I've heard other people saying that it made their Hardware 3 cars behave better. And I have to say, this morning, getting out of Las Vegas, there's some pretty intense traffic. And then now on the highway with navigating with trucks going up and down these hills, it's been very good. So maybe something's changed. Yesterday it was pretty good too. So I don't know. There may have been a background change, or maybe I'm just getting less fussy about it. I don't know. But I haven't had to do nearly as many speed inputs and nagging it. So I'm going to try to share what is happening out here, but we are really just driving right into the sun. It was cool to see the sun come up over the mountains, but we're just kind of being blinded right now. So like I said, St. George in 30 minutes. We're going to reset there, pack for the Zion or Bryce Canyon, whichever one we could do. With so much planning for the other parks, I've kind of let this just kind of be in the back burner. So I'm also going to listen to some YouTube videos as we go about things to hit, things that would be good, hikes of stuff that Joan would enjoy. I know there's some really intense ones, but I don't think we're going to do those. We're cruising through the northwest corner of Arizona right now and should get into Utah before long and charge up. Zion is one of the most crowded national parks. It's small and very popular. So, like I said, if we just have to drive through, that's what we'll do. But we'll take it as it comes. Gonna see something beautiful today, no matter what. Hard to see there, but we're here with 7%, St. George. Last trip was 133.5 miles since the last charge, 309.5 watt hours per mile. 2,221 on the trip so far with 301.2 average. Let's plug in. And our cost is 36 cents a kilowatt hour, so that's not bad. And we're up to 104, 106 right away, 108. Should do pretty well. I'm going to navigate to that Bryce Canyon Supercharger and see what we need to get going there. We are up to 86% after just resetting our bags and stuff, so we're ready to go at Zion. That's just how long it took us. I navigated back to Bryce Canyon and it says we'll get there with 3%, but it doesn't seem to know like that we can just go up this way. So I think we'll be in better shape than it thinks, but I'm going to give it some extra time just to be safe. We'll slow down if we need to, but I think we're okay. So it's saying 4 minutes to continue the trip. We're only at 34 kilowatts, so not fast, but better than making another stop and getting on and off the highway, that kind of thing. It's saying we'll get to Bryce Canyon with 5% now, but really we just refilled water bottles, got rid of a ton of garbage and recycling stuff that had been just choking the car. So that feels good. Get rid of some of that. Joan had a little more breakfast, and after repacking the bags and everything, well, we were up to like 85%. Now we're up to 88. And it's saying we'll get to Zion about 8:30, which would be good. Hopefully we can beat the bulk of the crowds and get a parking space. Again, if we can't, we'll just go further and go up to Bryce Canyon, play around up there. Yeah, there's plenty to see up at Bryce Canyon too. So I'd rather see stuff than wait in lines all day. But that's it. We'll be off in a couple minutes. All right, I thought we were ready, but we had to do a restroom stop and put some shorts on. So we're now at 94%. Saying we'll get to Bryce Canyon with 13. Zion with 66 at about 8:37. So let's hit the road. Well, we are driving through an absolutely gorgeous valley on the way to Zion. So the car navigation originally wanted us to follow more interstate. The route we took, we followed the signs towards Zion, and it was through some towns, some stoplights. Now we're finally to Springdale. It's just outside the entrance. So it's been slower, but that's been good for range. It's also been way more scenic. Like, we are just in some gorgeous places here. It's about 10 o'clock, which means we might be at the worst time to try to get into. Holy cow, it's just so beautiful. This might be the worst time to try to get into the park. We're going to see how it is. We've already passed one of the Springdale shuttle spots, so we could do that, or we could just head up to Bryce Canyon. That's going to have some marvelous things to see too. And the drive will take us part of the way through through Zion. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. So far, it's very beautiful. This route just probably added 20 minutes at least. And had we hit more of the stoplights, it could have been a lot worse. But more fun of a drive. Saying we'll get to Zion at 73%. And because of these slower speeds, we'd get to the Bryce Canyon Supercharger with 24%. So I was kind of right about that when we were at the charger, but that's okay. Better safe than sorry. And we needed all that time anyway. We ended up charging more after I said we'd be done, so it was all right. Okay, it's saying parking is full, so we could either park in Springdale and take that shuttle in, or we can just drive through the parts we can drive through and then head over to Bryce Canyon. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think there's still a good family hike on the east end. We'll see. I'll look at the map when we get through the gate. This park and Arches and really all of these should be done in more days. So as we were planning this trip, we were kind of talking about how maybe in another year or two, we would come back and do Arches, Canyonlands, and Zion and kind of make more of a focus on these Utah parks. This focus was really Grand Canyon, and everything else is kind of extra. So whatever we see, and that'll be good. It's all an adventure. And it's all new to us anyway, other than what we've seen in videos or photos. This is all new. Even the drives in have been incredible. Like, I think you could take half of the canyons we drove through and rope them off and say this is a national park, and people would hike through them in wonderment. There's just so many beautiful places around here. I'm feeling good no matter what we end up seeing. After a few pull-offs, we're now at the eastern edge of the park, and it's been beautiful. We're going to try a little bit of the East Rim Trailhead. It's right by the eastern entrance to the park. If we look back at the map quickly, the hike I'd planned to do was the Canyon Overlook Trail, but I must have missed the signage. This turned out to be a nice hike too, but no views of the canyon. Still, small beauty along the trail and amazing rock formations everywhere you looked. Is this a pretty good lunch spot? Yeah. Very pretty, very quiet. If there's no puma around, we're doing well. Well, we just had a really nice hour-and-a-half hike on the outskirts of Zion National Park. Nothing too extreme or outstanding, but just the general beauty that's out here. There was a good stretch of time when we were very alone. I was looking around for potentially some pointy kitties who might be interested in visiting us. Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, but when you get out away from people in cliffs like this, you never know what you're going to find. It's good to keep an eye out. Lots of people there at the national park sign. We didn't get that, but that's all right. Joan, did you have fun on that walk? Are you hungry now? Okay. We'll have a better lunch now. And that's where we'll end this episode. Tune in for the next one as we visit the incredible Bryce Canyon National Park, which turned out to be Joan's favorite. Joan, do you like this? Pretty cool. From there, we'll start making our way back home to Minnesota on this spectacular road trip. Like and subscribe so you don't miss it, and if you need to catch up, it's all in a handy playlist. But while we drive to Bryce, thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy road tripping.